right, and actually, he done more for this school district in a year and a half than anybody ever did. And it is gonna be hard to replace him, and we're trying to work through that right now as we speak. We had a conversation before, and but I don't know if you can replace him because of his knowledge. His business background was the most important thing. Our fund balance has gone from $800,000 to $6 million, which is great. And all we have accomplished here, I mean, he made us all look good. Taxpayers, students, staff, you name it, the board. It's been an amazing ride, and we are totally disappointed, and I can speak for pretty much everybody unless they want to themselves, but he will be missed, and we begged him to stay last work session, and he smiled and he said thanks, but he's looking forward to retirement, unfortunately. He's a young man yet, but anyway, thank you, Joe, appreciate it. Yep.
Moving on to item number 11 is the enrollment report is provided. So if any board members have any questions or comments?
Thank you.
None? May I have a motion for item number 12, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the following job description: Access 504 Secretary.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 13, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education award the snow removal bid for the 2016-17 school year as per bid specifications, excuse me, and at the cost listed in their snow removal bid as follows: R.D. Wilson Elementary, Pioneer Construction Company Incorporated.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Can we just have the cost listed, please, of all of the bids, so we probably know where to be?
Sure, we can do that. Yeah, you have one, please.
We only did receive the one bid from Pioneer Construction for Robert Wilson. Let me just find that. Their hourly rates, the bid from Pioneer Construction, plow truck 8 foot, $44.50 per vehicle hour. A 580 backhoe snow box 10 foot, $60 per vehicle hour, and a 924 cat loader 2.5 yard, $90 if needed per hour.
Thank you, Ms. Hammond.
Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. Okay, I have a motion for item number 14, please.
I recommend that due to no sealed bids received for the listed schools, the Board of Education award the snow removal contracts for the 2016-2017 school year as per bid specifications and at the cost listed as follows: the high school, middle school, and the district office, Mayoko Excavating, and Evergreen Elementary, Andrew Kropowski.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
I'll just reiterate my question for both
Go ahead.
plans.
Yeah.
For Evergreen, which is a Krompasky, a 1 ton, 9 foot, $55 per hour. Loader 8 foot bucket, $65 per hour. And a skid steer with snow box 7.5 foot, $65 per hour.
And the second one is Myoka, and that's, was texted to me. 1 ton pickup, V plow, $60 an hour. 1 ton pickup, or 1 ton dump truck with straight blade, 9 foot straight blade, $60 an hour. Single axle, 12 foot straight blade, $80 an hour. 310 SE backhoe, $85 an hour. And 928 loader, $90 an hour as needed. and those were, there were some other local vendors who were contacted as well, and these were the least expensive of the quotes. We had another quote for the high school, middle school as well that were more expensive. And the one good thing, a good thing, it's not one good thing, a good thing about this is all three of these snow removal bids and contracts are local taxpayers, local businesses who employ local people. Pioneer off of Pioneer Construction in Steen, and Myoko is in the Hamlin area, as well as Andrew Krukowski is in the Hamlin area as well. So they're local taxpayers. Their kids went to school here. Their grandkids went to school here. They live here. They pay taxes, and they employ local residents as part of their companies.
Inside of the bids, does the acreage around each campus come into effect, would you say, in speaking with them, which I'm sure you have?
What ends up happening is,
Because there are discrepancies from R.D. Wilson to high school. and
Sure,
school.
sure, yeah,
And obviously the campuses are different sizes.
correct,
That's my
correct,
question.
and you're right on. The bigger, if you've ever plowed before, a big wide open parking lot with a curb around it is a real difficult thing to plow. R.D. Wilson has the smallest of the parking lots and long access roads, which make it relatively easy to plow. And the reality of a very large parking lot with curbs in it and with light poles in it creates the need for more time, and the more time, generally speaking, if you notice for the two, for Evergreen and for high school, middle school, an 8-foot plow truck, pickup truck is not part of the deal because it's not enough equipment. It's not big enough, it's not powerful enough to carry big snow loads for long distances without either beating the equipment up or spending a huge amount of time trying to do it. Any of these bigger pieces of equipment, and Gary Enslin and Roger certainly can speak for it, if you try to do a job with the wrong size piece of equipment, not only you're doing, wasting time and charging more hours, you're probably not getting it done fast enough. The real reality for us is the big snowstorms aren't that big a deal because, quite honestly, school will probably be off and we have a 24-hour period to clean it up. It's the snowstorms that anytime that it's potentially bad weather, I'm watching the Weather Channel and the internet and all of those types of things at 3 o'clock in the morning. And if it stops snowing hard at 3 o'clock in the morning and there's 3 inches on the ground, these contractors only have a couple hours left time to clean it up. The small storms that are the issue. The big and medium storms most likely we're off and they have plenty of time. So the reality of why some of the pricing is slightly different is twofold. Number one, what piece of equipment do they need and how much time is it going to take to accomplish what they need to do based on the size and complexity of the lots. So it is very much different, especially RD compared to the other two, where a pickup truck can easily handle a lot of what we need to do at RD and it can't here. Does that answer your question?
So you're predicting we're gonna have the same time as we did last
I
year?
hope we do. We save a boatload of money, not only in snow plowing, but obviously energy use as well. I mean, we use way less gallon, and so far.
I don't know if we can actually duplicate last year's savings, right?
It would be really nice. It would be really nice. So, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Januzzi. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 15, please?
I recommend the Board of Education approve the purchase of the following vehicles at state contract price with a total not to exceed $180,000. A, dump truck with plow spreader, Evergreen Elementary. B, dump truck with plow spreader, middle school/high school complex. And C, a 9-passenger van, middle school, high school complex.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded.
the discussion on this one, the contracts that we just awarded in number 13 and 14 were one-year contracts. In the prior years for snow plowing, we used to do 3-year. The reality now is we have a dump truck at the high school, middle school that's 20 years old, actually 19 years old. The 9-passenger van is 20 years old, and the pickup truck at Evergreen is 18 years old. So they're beyond their useful lives. We need the availability for these complexes, and we're a very big complex. I mean, we have a $150 million physical plant here. We just spent a lot of money on the outside, both R.D. Wilson and at this complex, and it's our intention in the future to be able to do a lot of the work ourselves, and secondarily, being a multi-use the dump truck scenario. One will be probably a 4 to 650, and the other will be a 350. The reason for the 650 is we can haul 4 tons legally and not have a CDL license. For those of you who are in the construction business, that's a big deal. And it will allow us to maintain our own facilities in a much more efficient and less expensive way. And I see Adam, we find ourselves.
Yeah. I can drive that 19-year-old dump truck. I needed it. Thank you.
Yeah, and between soil, topsoil and mulch and all the things that we have, I mean, again, it's a very, very big complex, and we want to be able to maintain what we've improved here, especially over the last year, and we want to also have reliable, useful equipment that is not 10 years beyond its useful life. One of the vehicles is most likely the next time not going to be able to pass inspection just because of pure number of years of spreading salt. And all you have to do is drive around the roads in northeastern PA for 20 years with a vehicle in the wintertime, and you're going to find that everything rusts and it gets eaten. And the same thing for the 9-passenger van. It's time for us to update that's our second van, to update that for kids' transportation to events, small events as well. So, and it is part of what we're going to do in the next few meetings is lay out for the public and the board a capital plan which includes all of our vehicles, all of our capital assets, useful lives, expectations, and estimated times for replacement, so that everybody can plan from a board and business perspective of how we're going to maintain and keep our capital items up to a standard that we don't need to do $10 million projects again in the future. We can do $1 million to $2 million on an annual basis, and then again with a $150 million physical plant, that's the equivalent of if you had a $150,000 construction cost house, that you spend $1,000 a year on it, maintaining it. And pretty much everybody in the world spends $1,000 a year doing something, maintaining your home. And then every 20 years you're replacing a roof at 8 to 10, and every 20 years 8 to 10 to 15 for a heating and cooling system. So we want to get ourselves in a position fiscally and with our capital and our capital items that we know where we are, we have a schedule in place, and we can plan for it and not have to have 20 years of not being able to, not doing anything for whatever reasons, financial or problems or behaviors. We want to be able to move forward and look forward and have a schedule so that the board can plan for replacement of items. And this is one of those things that we, and quite honestly, on the vehicle schedules, we're behind on, and we need to catch up. For future vehicles, there might be one a year or one every other year, but because of the 20-year-old nature of what we have to get caught up, just like we had to get caught up this summer with our big project.
And that $180,000, that state formula is a big savings for the district per vehicle. You couldn't buy them this cheap.
Yes.
And the other thing is the district used to have a 5-year plan in regards to our vans and our trucks and all that. And it just went away for some reason, and we found ourselves here embarrassed by the fact that we have a van that carries students that's 20 years old. And Joe with the administration, working with his administrators, have taken care of this problem for
Oh, dear, thank you.
Any other comments? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 16, please?
I recommend the Board of Education approve the following overnight trips and chaperones for the 2016-2017 school year. Can we do it as listed, or do you want to have them all?
As
As
listed,
listed.
please.
9 trips.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
For the national ones and the regional ones, obviously, we need to compete at the local level to be able to get to that point. So if we don't qualify for a state or national level, obviously we won't do the trip. But the good news is we've had many of our students achieve at very high levels in these organizations and have gone on to win districts, regionals, and statewide competitions. So it will be only as earned for all of these organizations.
Mr. Adams? Any other comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 17,
I
please?
move that the Board of Education approve the following change in the business name of van contractor Mark Pappas to Jennifer Pappas for vans number 49, 86, and 123 effective November 7th, 2016.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 18, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the following to list of Western Wayne School District transportation drivers and substitutes for the listed contractors for 2016-2017 school year as follows, contingent upon receipt of necessary paperwork. Contractor JP Transportation and T. Estrada, driver Crystal Schaefer.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? We're going to go to the addendum to the agenda, and that'll be number 18B, please. May I have a motion for this, please?
I recommend the Board of Education approve the following to the list of Western Wayne School District transportation drivers and substitutes with a listed contractor for the 2016-17 school year as follows, contingent upon receipt of necessary paperwork. Contractor Diane Jenkins, driver Susan Regner.
Second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstentions? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 19, transportation, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the following transportation contract extensions at state formula for the 2016-2017 school year as listed.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
Just for the public, those are all van runs, and students move in, move out, special needs occur with some of our special needs students, and they're just changes to existing contracts, either adding or deleting miles, and in this case, they were all additions.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstentions? Motion carries. May I have a motion for item number 20, please?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the following new transportation contract at school formula for the 2016-2017 school year. Kristen Mayo, Band 1, Wingmar to New Story, effective November 7th, 2016.
I'll second it.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Are there any abstentions? Motion carries. Let's go to the agenda for item number 21.
I recommend the Board of Education approve the following personnel to be added to the district sub-list for 2016-17 school year for certification Act 24, 34, 151, 114, 153, 168 guidelines, employment eligibility verification, U.S. Department of Justice, Shannon Nolan, area guest teachers.
Second that.
The motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments?
If you teachers know anybody else out there with an educational degree that could serve as a guest teacher, we do need substitutes, and who would know better than you guys if you got a thing out there.
Thank you. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Any abstaining? Motion carries. Back to the agenda, number 21A, please. May I have a motion?
I recommend that the Board of Education approve the following personnel to be added to the district substitute list for the 2016-17 school year for certification Acts 24, 34, 151, 114, 153, 168 guidelines, and we can approve this listing.
Second?
Okay. Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor, vote by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, no. Are there any abstaining? Motion carries.